I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty much all politicked out, but we have a winner and we need to talk about how it's going to affect the real estate market moving forward. Let's dive right in. I don't know about you guys, but I am absolutely exhausted of talking about, seeing, and hearing things about politics. But Donald Trump won the election, and we need to talk about how it's going to impact the real estate market moving forward. If you're new to the channel, my name is Ryan Dossey, and I'm a real estate investor and agent. I've been in the direct-to-seller space for the past 10 years. I own a direct mail business as well as a call center, so we have a lot of hands-on experience of what's going on in real estate right now. In fact, our call center on average is taking upwards of 15,000 inbound calls a month just from investors and agents. So we have a very direct pulse on what's going on in the market. We're going to talk about the 4 key policies from Donald Trump, their pros, what I see some of the potential cons are, and how I think it will impact the real estate market moving forward. Donald Trump's first big key policy is a focus on deregulation. I think both candidates agree that we have an inventory shortage and we need to fix it somehow. I think the thought process here is that by removing some red tape, we can speed up the process of getting new homes built and also lower that cost. This probably doesn't surprise you because I'm in real estate and I own businesses, but I am a fan of less government involvement in most cases. Yes, I do think there should be standards that properties have to meet and hit. No, I don't think it should take a year or more to get a home through the permitting process like it does in some markets. Assuming safety standards and things are still maintained, I do see deregulation as a good thing. In my experience, government of any kind tends to not like giving up power that it's been granted. So I think we might kind of have to wait and see how that plays out, but I'm kind of a fan of this one. Donald Trump's second key policy is tax incentives, particularly for first-time home buyers to encourage home ownership. I'm really curious kind of how this would play out. If it was done similar to like how EVs were done, where it's just kind of like a discount that you're able to take off the property. I think a lot of first-time home buyers aren't going to have really large tax bills. So I don't see that being like a driving force or factor. In fact, a lot of first-time home buyers are probably W-2 employees getting some sort of a refund back at tax time. I think kind of a key concern here is going to be to watch what are the tax credits? Who are they for? Is this primarily benefiting the wealthy or is it going to boost kind of that first-time home buyer sector? Vice President Harris's take on this had been a $25K like down payment assistance. I was featured in Kiplinger on my thoughts on that of, we need more houses, not more families fighting for the same houses. My concern is this might kind of end up doing the same thing. If it's a tax credit, it might just take a little bit longer to see that effect. As somebody who routinely cuts rather large checks to the federal government, though, I'm all for paying less taxes if it's possible. Donald Trump's third key policy when it comes to real estate is opening up federal land to build additional housing. As I've said before, I'm a big believer that we need more units, not more people fighting over the same units. So getting more supply into the market feels like a win to me. Now, the kind of proposed structure sounds to me similar to opportunity zones. It would be low taxes, tax credits, tax incentives to go and develop those federal lands. I'm a little curious to see how they would do that. Are they actually selling off federal land? Or does it become kind of like what we've seen in some overseas markets where it's like a leasehold? So that would be interesting. I think you are going to get some pushback from people that don't want those federal green spaces developed. Are those parks? Are they national parks? Are they wildlife preserves? So I think you are definitely going to have environmental pushback on any of those that happen, but that's kind of the same thing we get now. If you've ever gone before building and zoning, it can be kind of an uphill battle, particularly if you've got some neighbors that aren't a fan of the project. We had one before that was an 8 unit that was built as an 8 unit that because it sat empty got converted back to single family. And while everybody wanted more affordable housing in that particular community, they didn't want it in their neighborhood. Interesting how that works. The fourth policy that he's got out here has to do with immigration. And I want to try to keep this real estate focused and not just like devolve into politics about this, but has to do with reducing illegal immigration to lower that demand for housing, right? In theory, less people going after the same inventory. One potential negative consequence to this is reducing the labor force. I don't think there's anybody in real estate that will tell you that there aren't Hispanic crews and large Hispanic crews that are involved in construction. Deportation or even stricter immigration criteria might make it hard for folks to come to the US to do construction work. I think we almost want more qualified folks in the United States doing construction, not less. I don't know how we accomplish that though. A year or two ago, Governor DeSantis in Florida signed something with immigration, and we actually saw labor force leave the state on the construction side. Whether folks like it or not, there are a lot of folks that aren't necessarily legal that are in construction that allow projects to get built at a lower cost. I think an ideal scenario would be like if you're a contributing member of society, let's make the immigration process a little bit more seamless to boost the construction labor force, not diminish it. From our in the field experience leading up to the election, there was a lot of like, let's just pause and see what happens going on in the market. I actually did a YouTube video prior to the election called the presidential pause because this phenomenon is kind of new to us. We're even hearing that from sellers that are calling into our company of, well, let's just kind of wait and see what happens. The general consensus was that a Donald Trump victory in 2024 would lead to good things and hope about the real estate housing market, which is a belief that I personally have. I'm really excited to see kind of how some of these policies play out and where we end up. Thank you guys for taking the time to watch today's video. Again, my name is Ryan Dossey. I've been involved in the real estate market, specifically buying and selling for the past 10 years. Hopefully you found this helpful or informative, or at least kind of gives you some things to look out for. If you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys next time.